The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I want to tell you an incredible story. A friend of mine calls me a few weeks ago. He says, we're about to start the summer season to go to camp. I want to tell you an incredible story. I have a son who's 13 years old, special needs child. He goes to public school all week long. Sunday, they try to mainstream him. They send him to yeshiva. But it's not easy. But in the summer, he's with us. I asked one of the Bachrim from the Masifta program, from the learning program, maybe you could learn with my son for a little bit every day. And he did, and it was fantastic. At the end of the summer, about 2 years ago, I said to him, can I pay you? He says, absolutely not. I'm doing it as a chesed. I'm doing it as a taiva. Okay. I tried to give him the money. The next year I call him. I said, will you learn with my son? He says, yes. I said, only on one condition. You have to be able to take my money. He says, absolutely not. He says, why not? He says, I want to tell you something. I don't get such good chavrusas in yeshiva. I'm not the smartest guy, not the biggest learner. But when you came over to me and offered me the opportunity to learn with your son, I said, Rabbi Shalom, I want to make a deal with you. You have a child who needs a chavrusa. Your child needs a chavrusa. Hashem, I promise to learn with him. But can you help me find a great chavrusa too? And I want you to know, last year, I had the best year of chavrusas in my life. And I don't want to give that up. So yes, I'll learn with your son. Incredible story. He learned with him. He had great chavrusas. And a few weeks ago, he calls him for a third year to learn with his son. Listen to this. He says, I want you to know that my son was so successful the last 2 years. Could you please learn with you again? He says, yes, but you know our rule. He says, please, I want to pay you. He says, I was going to call you in the beginning of the year and tell you, but now's the time. I went to the Mir Yeshiva, the biggest yeshiva in the world, last El. I'm a new boy in a new country with no reputation. And there's a chavrusa tumul. Now, if you've never been involved in chavrusa tumul, let me tell you that it is one of the most humbling experiences of your life. You stand there and they try to make shidduchim. Will you learn with him? Will you learn with him? It could be hundreds, maybe even thousands of people. It could be very degrading and humbling. And many of you at home are nodding, I can promise you. And so I thought I had 3-4 leads. And one by one, in the last 20 minutes, every person came over to me and they said, I'm going to learn with him, and I decided not to learn with you, and I'm going to learn. And the moment arrived, Chavrusa Tumul is over, and I have no Chavrusas. And I sat down in the Mir Beis Medrash. And I was crying. And I had a very frank discussion with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with Hashem. And I said, Rabbi Shalom, we had a deal. I promised to learn with your child, and you were going to take care of me, and I don't have a chavrusa. Help me. And all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, a man comes over to me, a shoylu meishiv in yeshiva. One of the Rabbeim in yeshiva comes over to me and says, don't ask. I was supposed to learn with somebody else. He came over to me 3 minutes ago. He told me he's not learning with me. You look like a boy that doesn't have a chavrusa. Would you learn with me? He says, not only did it give me great chavrusas that zman, it established me as a boy with a great reputation for learning. I've had unbelievable chavrusas, so yes, of course, I'll learn with your son on the condition that I don't take a penny. Make a deal. Make a deal with Hashem. We all need things. Hashem, please help us.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org